There are 5 ways in which you can prove your title to a land.
It's amazing.
Welcome to Leducation, our legal podcast, where we break down legal concepts, legal principles for your understanding without even going to the law school. But just before we go into today's topic, please subscribe. The only way you encourage us to do more and more and more is when you subscribe, you engage with this video and share it to others. This is how we know that indeed you are getting value from what we are giving out. Thank you for always. There are 5 ways in which you can prove your title to a land.
Sounds too good to be true.
And this is what we want to discuss with you on the show today. All right, let's quickly go over it. Now, we have discussed in previous episodes about the importance of legal documentation in proving your title to a property and all. But do you know that there are actually 5 ways in which you can prove title to your property, and documentation is only one of them? Do you want to know? All right, let's go. There was a case in 1976 that was decided in 1966, Idudun versus Okumagba, and in that case, 5 ways were established for anyone to prove their title to the property.
I need a lawyer.
Now, the first one is proof of title through traditional evidence. Big story. What it means is this, that if you can prove history or traditional history, that your great-grandfather was the first to occupy the land, and then he transferred it to your or to your grandfather, and then the property devolved to your father, and all of that. Traditional history, you can prove that your grandparents, your ancestors were the first settlers, or that they have been in occupation of that land for a long period of time. That is sufficient to be able to prove your ownership of the land.
He's joking, right?
The second way in which you prove your title to a property is through the provision of legal documents. We have done an exhaustive work on this in our previous episodes, so I'm not going to stay too long on that. So go and watch our previous episode to be able to understand details about this. The third way in which you can prove your title to a property is by acts of ownership, exercising acts of ownership. And by this, we mean that you have taken steps that only an owner of a thing can do, leasing it out, renting it out, farming on a part of the entire property, and so on. And you have done that for a sufficiently lengthy time, a long time, to give a reasonable person the impression that you are the owner of that property. That is sufficient to actually establish your title to the land. Another very vital way in which you can prove your title to a property is by acts of long possession. By this we mean that you have occupied the land for a very long period of time without any adverse challenge on that land. You have established your presence on the land, maybe by building structures on it, by farming on it, building fence or whatever on that property for a very long period of time. In fact, maybe for 10 to 12 years, and no adverse challenge on the property. Nobody has challenged, or nobody has come out to say that, oh, no, this is my property and all. For that period of time, you have consistently established your possession of the land. That is sufficient to be able to convince the court that you may be the owner of that property.
What must I have been thinking about?
This is why you must never leave your property unoccupied at any time. Number 5, it will be very interesting, is possession of a connected or adjoining land, that if you can establish that, oh, the land in dispute is connected to a land that is owned by you, that you are the owner of, say, 5 plots of land, and one part of it is being disputed, the court may resolve the matter in your favor, saying that if he owns this property, then there is high likelihood that he also owns property. What should be the takeaway from all of this? When you buy a land, ensure that you exercise possession on that land. And if you are putting somebody to exercise possession on that land, it is always good that you have a document to show that I am only putting you in I'm only giving you a license to use the land, because over a period of time, they can prove possession. Maybe you are no longer even alive. Your children may have difficulty in proving it, especially if they don't have the title document. And the other person may prove that, oh, they have been in possession of this property for a long period of time, and that land belongs to them. This is where we stop today. This is where we pause. And we hope to see you again next week, the same time next week. Just before you leave this place, ensure that you subscribe, ensure you share, ensure you like, ensure you drop comments or any questions that you have on this topic or any other topic that we have discussed in the past. Thank you.